All right, next is slip 412. We're looking at trying to be able to compare values involving absolute value and understanding what absolute value means. Okay, so when we see these signs here, these straight lines down here around a number, that stands for absolute value. Okay, and remember the absolute value we learned means distance from zero. And distance is always positive. So when I'm looking at the absolute value of negative 21, I want to know how far that is from zero. So that simply becomes 21 is what that equals. So it's not negative. Its distance from zero is always positive. So that becomes 21. So is 21 greater than negative 22? And it is. That is true. Same thing here. The absolute value of negative 16. How far is it from zero? It's 16, so this becomes 16 is less than 0, and that is false. Again, don't confuse yourself with the negatives. You know, distance always turns positive with absolute value. Okay, so this one, the absolute value of negative 36 is 36. So does 36 equal 36? It does. And on D, with the same thinking here, the absolute value of negative 72 is 72. And 72 is greater than 71, so this is also a true statement. Okay, so again, really focusing on what absolute value is, and that means how far it is from zero, and distance is always positive is the main thing to remember. And again, I like to write it out so I don't get confused by that negative, right, what it actually means. Okay, so make sure you have these written down. We'll take a look at the bottom ones here. All right, and on the end one here. All right, so the temperature is 18 degrees Fahrenheit below zero. That's what they're telling us. So it's really cold. It's negative 18. It's below zero, so I know that means negative. So my job is to read these questions and write an expression for what they want me for what they represent. So on question A, write an expression to represent the temperature. Okay, in other words, I'm not doing anything with absolute value here. Okay, all I know, I want to represent what is the temperature outside. And the temperature would be negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Right, there is no absolute value there at all. So the expression doesn't have to have addition or subtraction. It can just be a number as well. So the expression would just be negative 18 degrees Fahrenheit. That tells me the temperature. Whereas B is a little bit different. B, it says write an expression to represent how far the temperature is from zero. And remember, whenever you see how far it is from zero, that is absolute value. That's what absolute value means. So I need my absolute value symbols. And I know it's on the negative side, so it's negative 18 degrees, the absolute value of it. Now I know that turns positive, so how far is it from zero? I know it's really 18 degrees away from zero. But I don't have to write that. An expression is just its absolute value of a negative 18 degrees is what's going on in this situation. Okay, so this one's absolute value and this is not. So on C, explain why you wrote the expressions for problems A and B. And I would simply say B is an absolute value situation. Okay, and that's why I wrote it with absolute value. A is not. It's just the temperature, so I don't need that absolute value. Okay, so make sure you've got these things written down and understanding really what absolute value means, that it's distance from zero. In some situations are talking about absolute value in that situation, and other things aren't all the time.